Hi, my name is Rafi, and my family's from Bangladesh.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Ramirez, and I have family from Mexico, China, and the Philippines.
Hi, my name is Victoria. I'm from Russia.
My name is Brianna, and I am from Peru.
My name is Jacqueline, and my family is from Cambodia.
Hello, my name is Marin, and my family is from Ethiopia.
All right. Hello. Hi. My name is Akila Briggs. My family, we are from Sierra Leone, West Africa. In choosing to come to America, it was literally a matter of life or death. The story is not exactly mine because I was born here, but I'm first grandkid born in the States in the early 90s. There was a lot of guerrilla warfare happening. We call it the Liberian Civil War. It was spreading to different countries, causing issues with the neighboring countries. And due to that, my mom and her family had to disperse to refugee camps. Some went to Europe, some went to the Gambia, and my mom was the first one to come to America.
My name is Mojdeh Medizadeh. My story is that I came to the United States when I was 8 years old. School had just gotten out. I had completed the second grade in Iran. And we were coming, myself, my mother and father, were coming to visit my brother and sister for essentially summer break. My brother and sister were, at the time, living in Ogden, Utah. Frankly, my sister had come a year in advance. She had completed high school and had been sent over to complete her higher education at a college in Ogden. My brother had come just a few months later as a 13-year-old young man, and then we came to visit them in the summer of 1978 and frankly never left.
She saw a friend get assassinated by an opposing party during an election cycle. And to prove that they knew who she was and where she lived, they bombed the house next to my grandmother's.
2 months or so into it, it wasn't necessarily the revolution starting in Iran, but there were incidents that were taking place in Tehran, which is where we lived. Movie theaters were getting burned down. There was a lot more kind of uproar in the nation as a whole.
And after that, my grandpa was just like, nope, you are getting a visa, you're getting the next plane out of here to somewhere. And so he ended up sending her to Fresno to be with the missionaries that he had grown up with alongside my grandmother.
My father said, I'm going to go back and see what's happening and then essentially give you word as to kind of what our next steps would be. It's best for us to attempt to stay in the United States.
That was kind of how it had to happen, because it's a war. He was a guy with only daughters. People know what happens to women and girls during war, and so he had to get them out of there.
Hi, I'm Aki. I came here from the Philippines. So essentially, let's start from my family. So we were all from the Philippines. My grandmother and her sibling, they migrated here in around the 90s. Fast forward to around 2010, my grandmother petitioned my mom and her siblings and their children, including me.
My name is Andy Lee. I came from Tianjin. It's the northern part of China. It's about 80 miles southeast of Beijing. I came to the U.S. In 1996 as a graduate student. I have 3 elder sisters. We are living in a really poor community. At that time, kind of financially, it was not that good at all. Every month, every person, we can only have 1.1 pound of pork for the whole family for a month. We can only purchase that much. It's get much better now, but back then when I was young, it was really bad. And when I first came to the US, I only had 500 in my pockets. Think about this, going to a foreign country, it's a different language, different culture, and you don't have money, you don't have relative here. It's hard, but I think I survived. I'm proud of that.
My name is Bo, and my family immigrated from Bombay, India. We immigrated as a family, my parents, my younger brother, and I, when I was 5 years old. We immigrated here legally under a visitor visa. My family had one family member here at the time who has since passed away. I just wanted to start a new life here in the States. I am a really strong advocate for DACA for obvious reasons. One, because it's helped me so much. It's given me the life that I have now that I'm super grateful for. Secondly, because I feel like a lot of people don't understand what DACA is or who DACA recipients are. And I think it's really important for them to understand that they are Americans in pretty much every sense of the word, except for on paper. They are not people that are coming into this country for 1 year trying to take a job. They're people that grew up here. They're people that are part of your community, and they deserve the same protections that you do. It doesn't even offer any advantages. It just offers some basic rights: the right to work, the right to exist without being taken away from your home. I am still on DACA. We renew it every couple of years as long as the program stays alive. I'm dependent on it to be able to work and live here legally. Immigration process was a big struggle.
There's so much effort exerted just to migrate to another country.
They had a much different idea of what it would be like, that it would be a straightforward process. You'd apply for something, you'd file a form, you'd pay the money, and you'd get a green card. But it turned out it didn't work that way.
There are so many underhanded ways that they try to get out of giving people what they actually need.
To gather documents we never heard before. Can you pass us these documents? You have to go all around different departments.
My parents used their whole life savings to try to get us citizenship. They were hoping to get permanent residency after the visitor visa expired. It was a long process that ultimately ended in rejection. We appealed that decision. We were denied all of our appeals up to the Ninth Circuit Court, after which another court refused to hear another appeal. And so that's when we were placed under a final order of deportation, my entire family.
My mom struggled fairly considerably. She was actually deported remained in the United States without legal status for quite some time.
My brother and I did not want to leave. We wanted to at least finish high school. We wanted to stay where all of our friends were, where our lives that we knew were. And so at that point we began accruing unlawful presence, as it's called. But really we just stayed despite not having any of the legal protections.
Her paperwork came through. Her residency paperwork had to come through based on her application through a connection with my uncle, who was a citizen.
In my last year of college, President Obama approved the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. Through that, I was able to get a work permit and a driver's license, all of these things that were previously inaccessible to me.
We had finally gotten the paperwork for my great-grandmother and two of my aunts to come to America, but the attacks on 9/11 ended up essentially just wiping that completely away. And so all of that time and money and energy was just gone down the drain. And it took my mom 20 years to officially get her citizenship.
For filling the applications, I think the process began ever since I was younger. Once my visa was expedited, immediately work on the documents and what we need to submit.
Some people are able to get it super quick, but for some people, it's unfortunate. I think they just choose to mess with certain people. A lot of people coming in now are fleeing wars or warlike situations. It's scary, especially like you're just like freshly 18. You were expecting to do something else, stay in your countries, and like having to now come to America and navigate it yourself, find support systems that can help you.
It's hard moving to another country and you have no friends.
To be very frank, it was a very difficult transition. You know, I think as a child, you don't think about a lot of things. You just kind of do. The sense of belonging certainly wasn't there. There was no one that looked like me. And I mean, not one person.
Some of us have to deal with heavy accents, so language barriers. On top of that, people disregarding your intelligence simply because of your accent.
When I started going to elementary school here, I felt a lot of pressure to assimilate. There was a lot of bullying for my accent or for the oils that we'd put in our hair. That was just super common there, but not here.
Kids can be cruel. You know, I remember kids who would physically attempt to hurt me, like push me. They said things to me that I frankly didn't understand. So, you know, words can't hurt a lot when you don't understand them, but the context can kind of come through from tone and what have you.
In 2013, when I was in community college myself, my dad was a passenger in the car with a friend of his, and his friend just happened to not have his driver's license with him. They went through an immigration checkpoint, and my dad was ID'd, and he was held in an immigration detention center for 13 months. He didn't do anything wrong. He didn't commit any crimes. He wasn't even driving illegally. He was a passenger in this car.
She is a nurse. Because she's obviously an immigrant, she was not treated well by facilities. She was trained as an RN in Africa, so she knows exactly what she's doing. Here they had her as a CNA, or they would have her doing the RN's work, but still only treating her as a CNA. There was somebody that was supposed to help her, you know, do the studies, go to the classes for that. She paid them because that's what they're like, oh yeah, like we'll take care of it. We'll take care of your fees for you. And they took her money and then just told her, oh yeah, no, you don't qualify for this program. You don't qualify for this service to get your degree. She was already a fully certified RN, already had been working in the medical field in Africa, and then coming to America and then not being allowed to practice, like literally her passion.
My parents chose to trust someone with the legal work that they thought they could trust because they had known them previously, but they essentially stole a lot of my parents' money and didn't file things on time or when they should have. As a result, things got denied, and then the appeal process we all thought, you know, would take a certain amount of time, but it all took a lot longer than expected. It all was a lot more expensive than expected.
The culture is different, and I don't have any relative, any friends here. It's just pretty much myself.
Moving here, I think the biggest challenge for me was like mental health wise, because I was like so used to like having my friends around. When I got here, it was like really lonely because I had no friends here. I went to therapy because of like the isolation that I felt. Like it's just me alone with my thoughts and like thinking, what if I just stayed back home? What if I just pursued like university back home? I think one advice that like I can give is like prepare for the homesickness, because that's going to linger. There's gonna be times when you're just gonna break down and think, oh, like, I miss my old life. I miss my friends. I miss my family that I left back home. I'm okay right now, but sometimes I still think, like, what if I just stayed? Yeah, that's like the most difficult part, like having no one there. And like, yeah, you have your family, but like everyone has like their own lives, you know? They're like busy with their work, and you know, they're also going through their own things. So essentially, it's like you on your own.
Growing up, there were times that it was challenging as children of immigrants who lack, you know, English proficiency skills. There were times that I felt like I was the parent. I took my parents to the bank. I helped them kind of manage their accounts. All of their health-related issues were mine, like all of kind of those things that normally your parents do for you when you are a child. It was role reversal. You're acculturating, you're learning, you're going to school. You can't come home and say, hey, Mom, can you help me with, this history question? It's something that our immigrant families go through.
As a kid, when we immigrated, my parents never had a lot of money, and so we were on the less affluent side. Looking back now as an adult, I can see that's because my parents were trying very hard to make sure that we always felt comfortable at the expense of themselves. All of these, challenges that they faced, they tried to kind of shield us from. I'd say they did a really good job in giving my brother and I a good childhood, and I felt like we grew up as American kids.
Another thing I told other people, back in Texas, I don't have money, I only have like less than $30. I got sick, I don't have work permit, but I survived. I think for now, I can survive anything. I can definitely survive no matter what happened.
My parents definitely tried to help us preserve our customs. They are very much still connected to the culture because that's the culture they grew up in.
They really never acculturated. So the traditions were kind of alive and well because that's all they really knew.
I still hold on to the cultural things I was able to learn growing up. Our language is not a written language, so it's still sometimes speaking in the dialect.
They still speak the language. The Gujarati was just the one spoken at home, so that's the one I picked up.
It's sort of a pidgin Creole, but not like the Haitian Creole. It's slightly different.
Also kept a lot of the traditions alive. For example, we celebrate what's called Eid, which is our kind of New Year celebration. It's a period in which we put forth what's called a sofre that has items on it, culturally representative in a variety of ways. During kind of that celebration, there's 13 days from Eid. You wear your newest outfits and you visit one another. It's kind of the start of spring is what it aligns with. Crisp cash, usually $2 bills, are exchanged with the young members of families, and then it ends with a big picnic in a park. We get a lot of hand-me-down dresses. They're all handmade. It's kind of like a tradition. We just call them cotton dresses because they're usually made out of a cotton fabric, and they're always in these bright, extremely silly patterns. Like this one is cabbages and this one is pineapples. These are the types of dresses that we wear around the house when we're cooking, or like you wear it when you're going to the market. We laugh about it and say that it's used to track a child's growth because you start getting them when you're like 9 or 10. And so they fit kind of like this, where this white part is supposed to be hitting you around your midsection, around your belly button. But obviously as you get older, the white section starts coming up higher and higher. And once it hits to right about here where this does, that's when you're like, okay, it's time to pass it on to the next cousin or the next little sister that's gonna wear it. These types of dresses are all made back home. We have specific tailors we go to, and they each have their own style. We call it arata, but it kind of just means rat's teeth because it's supposed to look like rows of teeth. I don't know. I didn't make it up. When we're doing chores around the house, you're dealing with the garbage, you're dealing with, cutting up meat or something. To us, these are just like normal, like your sweatpants and your t-shirt that you wear to clean your house. But she's just like, yeah, here in America, I can put this on, I can wear it to church, and people think that I'm dressed to the nines. Well, really, I just finished putting the mop away. And I was just like, that is great. My parents loved to entertain, so we would have different neighbors actually come to our house for dinner. We had brought a Persian carpet, so we would literally sit on the floor with kind of the food spread and sit kind of around what was called the sofre, and indulge in, meals together.
All of the food from our culture, my mom cooks. She's a great cook, and so she's taught me a lot about cooking Indian food.
They loved my mom's cooking, which was so different, right? Persian Iranian food was so different.
I have Chinese food at home. My kids, they just love Chinese food. I try to teach them, no matter what you think, you are Chinese. This is your culture, and we should appreciate that. We should not feel bad about it. We should be proud of it. We should promote our cultures, and we should have open mind and try to appreciate other cultures.
lot of, struggle with that, but also still a lot of hope. And I think that hope is thanks to my parents.
I'm deeply thankful for all that my parents did for us. I think they sacrificed a great deal.
My mom and my family were always there for me. They always told me, like, it's better that you move here, like, in terms of your opportunities, and we're always here for you no matter what. I told myself, I'm going to do this for my family, my mom, and my friends. I'm going to show them that I can do it. I want to show them that from, like, the old, sad me when I first got here becomes, like, really positive and, like, outgoing. I wanted to prove to them that I can do it, and I'm doing this for them.
They relied on religion a lot. It's something that, even though I don't agree with the religion, I respect it immensely because that gave them the lifeline to stay together, believe that it's going to be okay. The religion we grew up with, death is not the end. So they're like, we don't know what's going to happen. At the end, we're still going to see each other. Even if we may die in this lifetime, we're still going to see each other. So you're going to be okay. And like, that was what, like my grandma tells that story a lot. She's just like, yeah, it's going to be okay. Even if you die, it's okay because you're going to be okay later. And so like, that's part of like what helped a lot of them through the war. Ooh, goodness gracious.
It's very hard to live in the uncertainty and the struggle, but you can't let that define your life. You still have to live. And so you have to try to build a good life for yourself, regardless of whether you're sure if it will continue or not. Ultimately, all of our lives are like that, right? We don't know if tomorrow is guaranteed. And so while it's difficult and stressful, it's really important that you still try to build the life that you want, regardless of what you may or may not know for sure. I was going through a really hard time during that year that my dad was just held indefinitely in detention. We didn't know if we were about to be deported at any minute. We didn't know if he'd ever come back. And so it was a time where my education didn't really feel like a priority. I almost was like, why am I doing this? Why do homework when I don't even know if I'm going to be in this country next semester? It was just emotionally a very difficult struggle to find the motivation to do this, and I happened to be taking my first calculus-based physics class at the time, which was a very demanding class, and so I felt quite a bit behind in that class. Our professor was like, hey, come to office hours if your grade is low and we'll figure something out. She just blanket said that to the class. And so I thought, well, let me try because I'm failing this class. I went to his office hours and said, look, I've been struggling with family things this semester. He didn't ask me for details. He didn't press me. He just said, okay, here is what you need to make up to pass, and here's the grade you need on the final to get a C. If you can do that, then you'll pass. It was such a relief just to have someone, no judgment, be like, my job is just to help you learn some physics. I was super grateful for that because I wouldn't have stayed a physics major if I had failed that first class. That's part of why I wanted to actually become a community college professor, because my professors during that time showed me a lot of compassion and they really affected my education journey and made an impact on me. And I want to do the same for others.
I grew up in a really poor community, and I came to the U.S. with only $500. This is why when I see the student from nowhere has nothing become successful, it really resonates with me. Sometimes I even feel the tear falling out from my eyes. So with that, I think this is why I'm here. I see how I can help. If I can help those students, I can see the change. We can change someone's life. I'll feel so proud. And this is why it kept me working here.
I feel like I'm privileged to have that knowledge and experience and to know and see what so many of our students do on a daily basis. Our future is bright because of them. I feel so privileged to work in a space, in a place where I can see through the individuals, our students that I get to interact with, that the American dream is not dead, because I can see it through our future leaders. Certainly, I would say in the community college system and environment, we are 150% ready, willing, and beyond able to support our immigrant families and communities.
Through my club right now, which is the Kappa Club, I think I find like a strong sense of like tight-knit community. There's like fellow Filipinos there. We get to like connect about our culture. It makes me feel like less alone, like knowing there's like, oh, there's other Filipinos here also.
I work with the undocumented students on campus. I try to talk to my students about it and make them feel a little bit less alone.
Beyond, the California Community College system values our immigrant populations and has built the infrastructure to help them thrive. From a financial perspective, with our AB 540 students and others, to, free immigration services that we partner with local organizations that provide for us, frankly, on our campuses. I think, and certainly for our students, but also for their families, I think we're really thoughtful about ensuring that the future remains bright.
I just want people to know that it always gets better. Like, as cliche as it may sound, if you're by yourself, you learn how to like be there for yourself and like be strong for yourself. So it really gets better.
I think America did live up to my expectations. I think there's so much good in this country, and so much of the good is about the people.
Although there's a lot of news, all kinds of news may not be good regarding America, but I still think I travel around, I travel to many countries around the world. I still think America is the best country to immigrate.
We all come here because we see this country as a land of opportunity.
We are not that different from other immigrants who maybe didn't come here as children. We're doing the same things. I have colleagues and coworkers who immigrated not as children, but we're doing the same jobs. We're benefiting our students the same way. There's no difference between us. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to someone who is not an immigrant, doesn't know anything about the immigration system, but had an opinion about immigration and said, oh, well, not like you, you're different. I'm talking about those other immigrants. They've never seen these other immigrants, right? They just have this idea in their head of who these other immigrants are. They think are taking advantage of the system or breaking rules. And I really want to redefine that notion that they look like me. They are just like me. There is no other immigrant. We're all immigrants. No matter what time we come here, what age we come here, right? We're all looking for the same things, which is just to live and be part of the community.
We are American. That's work as a U.S. citizen. That's work together. If we fight, we're nothing. But if we're united, we're smart, we work hard, we should have the opportunity and protect our right.
This country was built on the backs of immigrants. It is as special as it is today because of our immigrant population, who are now Americans.
I really hope, think about this, if there's a country, just one culture, just a few holidays, one type of music, that's it. I feel it's a little bit boring. If we have holiday every day, all kinds of holiday, we have different kinds of music to enjoy, different culture, different dance style, and different kind of food. And we don't need to go to other countries, right? We can all enjoy here. That'll be great. And I really hope, we in the future we can celebrate all kinds of culture.